from you here. We will start our program tonight as we typically do with an invocation and pledge of allegiance, and I'd like to call on Reverend Mark Magoni to lead us in the invocation, and we'll be led in the pledge of allegiance by two young ladies. So would you please rise as you are able, stand as you're able, and for the pledge of allegiance, invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray together. Gracious God in heaven, we acknowledge your love for us, your mercy and kindness that is extended in generation after generation. Lord, you have been faithful, and Lord, you are good. And tonight as we come before you, we thank you for hearing our prayers and answering them according to your will. We thank you for our leaders and our elected officials and those that provide leadership for us. May you grant to them wisdom and grace and strength. Father, may we be honored as we do good. It is our prayer, Father, that you would help us to love one another as you have loved us. For we know that love is patient, love is kind, love does not boast, it is not jealous and envious. Love does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking and arrogant. Love does not easily become angered or provoked. Love does not keep into account a wrong suffered. Lord, we know that love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in good. Lord, we thank you that love protects, love trusts, love hopes, and love perseveres. Father, may you help us to love and to do good and not to do harm. Father, may you allow us to reflect you in all that we do. And as we honor one another by loving, Father, we thank you that we are your children as we reflect you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Please join us with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Be seated. As I say, our prayer tonight was given by Reverend Mark Magoni, who is the senior pastor at Martha Bowman United Methodist Church. Reverend Magoni it was a chaplain and vice president of church relations for the Methodist Home for Children and Youth. He's been in full-time ministry since 1984. He is originally from Georgia, received his undergraduate degree from the University of Georgia and his Master of Divinity degree from Asbury Theological Seminary in Kentucky. Beginning in the summer of 2000, he's been very involved in the ministry to orphans in Kivro, Ukraine, in the Ukraine. Wow. That's fabulous. In the Ukraine, and has made 19 trips to the Ukraine. Mark's wife, Fran, is an ordained deacon, serves as associate pastor at Martha Bowman United Methodist Church in Macon. Mark and Fran have 3 grown daughters and 1 granddaughter. He enjoys sports and outdoor activities. Reverend Magoni, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service in the Ukraine and at Martha Bowman, and thank you for being here tonight. Our Pledge of Allegiance was led by 2 of our SMART students. SMART stands for South Macon Arts Revitalization Technology. I think is what the SMART stands for. And Antonio Lewis Ross is here with the 2 students, and we want to say, Antonio, we're thinking about you and your mama. Frankie Lewis had a stroke, as I understand it, and is recovering. We wish her well, and thank you for being here. But the two students, first, if you would please stand, Faith Beloved Barnes. Faith is the daughter of Shanika Barnes. She's a 5th grader at Charles H. Bruce Elementary School, where she's an active member of the chorus. Her church membership in Center Hill Baptist Church, where the Reverend Dexter Jordan is pastor. And at church, she's a member of the Young Youth Choir and the Praise Dance Team. At Charles H. Bruce Elementary, she's an active member of the school chorus. Her extracurricular activities include membership in the Young Ladies and Young Gentlemen of SMART and the SMART Chess Team. She was accompanied by Chandrea Nicole Spencer. Chandrea, would you stand for us? Good. She's the daughter of Ms. Janet Dorn and Mr. Darren Burkett. She's a very involved member of the Young Ladies, Young Gentlemen of SMART, an affiliate of SMART Incorporated, and the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs. She serves as secretary of the youth. Ms. Spencer is a former student at Charles H. Bruce Elementary. She attends Appling Middle School where she's an honor roll student and is involved with the following extracurricular activities: Future Business Leaders of America, the volleyball team, a chorus, and she serves as an ambassador for Appling Middle School. She's a member of Christ Life 365 Church. Dr. Christina Sherrod, pastor at church. She participates as a liturgical mime dancer. Miss Spencer aspires to become a mathematician. You know, in this day and age when we hear so much bad stuff about young people, isn't it refreshing to see two such wonderful students and hardworking girls? Congratulations. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. Now, we have minutes of 3 different meetings. There was a public hearing that no one showed up for at our last meeting, and then our pre-commission meeting of the 16th and regular commission meeting. Are there any changes or corrections to any of those minutes, or can I get a motion to approve them as issued by Commissioner Schlesinger, second by Commissioner Wynn? Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the minutes, those 3 sets of minutes, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and those minutes are approved. Next, I am delighted to present a couple of proclamations and to recognize a couple of people as well. And let me come down to the podium because I'm going to invite a couple of people to come down with me. It's still on? Yeah, I guess it is. First of all, Sharice Stevens, come up and be with me, Sharice. I have a proclamation here. Sharice is our physical. Oh, you got some folks with you. Good. Oh, good. Come on up, y'all. Sharice has been a champion of physical fitness and exercise and diet for quite a while. And she's always coming to me with new ideas about how we can involve youth and how we can involve people of all ages in learning to do better, to take care of their health, to eat right, to exercise, and to be physically fit. So I issue this proclamation, Sharice, as a result of your efforts. Whereas May is National Physical Fitness and Sports Month. How many people knew that? May is National Physical Fitness and Sports Month. So this is the time when y'all can get ready to wear those little tight bathing suits during the summer. But whereas during National Physical Fitness and Sports Month, we renew our commitment to live healthier and more active lifestyles and acknowledge the positive difference that wellness makes in our society. And whereas the Georgia Wellness and Fitness Festival is the local wellness advocacy organization with award-winning year-round programming and the only one-week fitness festival promoting this month through free community events, and whereas the root of a healthy America are healthy citizens, and this month we celebrate and promote the benefits of physical activity and recognize those selfless individuals who volunteer their time and resources to make it possible for our nation's citizens to participate in fitness programs. Now, therefore, I, Robert A.B. Rickert, do hereby proclaim May 2019 is National Physical Fitness and Sports Month in Macon-Bibb County. And I encourage all citizens to find a sport or adopt an exercise routine that allows them to reap the numerous benefits of an active lifestyle. Together, we can invest in healthier and stronger communities. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand caused the seal of the consolidated government to be affixed the 29th day of April, and the seal has been affixed. And Sharice, let me present this to you, along with my appreciation for all that you do to promote exercise, and invite you to say a word or two for us.
Yes,
and introduce your guest.
Yes. So as you see here, we are really promoting youth fitness. So we have the Boys and Girls Club here, we have Callie's Dance, and then also I'm going to get one of our gentlemen here to tell you a little bit what they're doing. Mr. Trey, come here for a second.
Hey everybody, I'm Trey from Macon. First I want to thank Miss Sharice Stevens for having me on the bike club. A few weeks ago, we had this bike rodeo. I forgot what park it was. We had a bike rodeo, and my ROTC came down for community service, and a coach from Dublin said he wanted us on the team. We joined the team, and next thing you know, we're doing 107 miles in 2 days. And so, as of right now, June 1st, we start Bragg Bicycle Ride across Georgia. This is a good club every youth should join. It's good benefits, and Miss Sharice, she can guide you with everything. And I just want to thank Miss Sharice for everything.
Thank you. And just like us on Facebook, we have free events throughout the month, from biking, walking, dancing, the whole 9 yards. And we just want you to move in May. Thank you, Mayor.
Next, can I get those veterans who are members of the commission to come down and join me? Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner Bibbins. Are there any other veterans of the military service in the audience with us tonight? Well, you may want to stand up and join us too as we present this proclamation. Good. Hot dog. Hot dog. Here we go. Hey, Mayor. How are you, sir? I didn't see you. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. How are you? Great to see you. This is a proclamation that's sort of bittersweet. It recognizes military service, but also celebrates MIA, missing in action, and POW. So this proclamation reads as follows. Whereas PFC James Roy Newberry was born in 1931, grew up in Lizella, Bibb County, Georgia. Whereas PFC James Roy Newberry served in the United States Army during the Korean War as a member of Company F, 2nd Battalion, 233rd Infantry Regiment, 40th Infantry Division. And whereas on December the 8th, 1952, PFC James Roy Newberry was part of a patrol sent to sweep the Soy Rong Pass area where the patrol engaged in small arms automatic weapons fire against Chinese ground forces and unable to overcome their resistance, then fell back to friendly lines. Whereas after falling back, PFC James Roy Newberry could not be located, and whereas this skirmish took place at map reference DT 220424 within the present demilitarized zone just north of its center line, whereas the location of this skirmish is presently part of the North Korean territory, and search teams have not been permitted by the North Korean government to conduct recovery operations there, and whereas PFC James Roy Newberry went missing in action December the 8th, 1952 at the age of 21, while fighting the enemy in North Korea, and was officially presumed dead December 31st, 1953. His issued helmet and jacket is all that was recovered. Now therefore, I, Robert A.B. Rickert, do hereby proclaim May the 7th, 2019 is PFC James Roy Newberry Day in Macon-Bibb County, and I encourage all citizens to honor his memory for his service and sacrifice to our country, and witness wherever I have hereunto set my hand cause the seal of the consolidated government to be affixed this 7th day of May, and would like to present this to members of the family of James Roy Newberry.
Hello. I want to thank everyone for this occasion. I never dreamed it would ever happen. And so I would like to recognize Joe Allen for what you did, and you listened to my nephew, Larry, and others, and you pursued this for 2 years. So I commend you, and I am so appreciative. I'm also appreciative that I'm the only sibling of James Roy Newberry, who is alive. But in this audience, oh my gosh, there are his nieces and nephews, and I would like for you to stand up. And our first cousin, Stuart Newberry, who grew up on the same road as we did, and they all came out for this occasion. And I just want you to stand and be seen and know that if his remains are found, these are the people, if I am not around, who will be there and receive and have the funeral. So there's someone left on this planet to do that. And a special, special thanks to Betty Newberry. Betty knew James Roy Newberry, was married to his brother, MC, and in his letters that I read, tell Betty to write me, tell my sister Boots to write me, tell all my friends to write me, and you did. and he talked about how thankful he was for you writing those letters and caring about him. I think as people who never had closure, we never had his body to bury, it would weigh on our minds. And I never, ever expected to get a call 1 week before I was coming back to Macon, Georgia for my 55th high school reunion from Beth, Larry's wife, and Rita then turned to the Rolling Thunders. I was amazed about Roy, and then I was going to deal with a Rolling Thunder woman. I mean, and so, you know, the next morning I got up and I had a box of letters that Roy had written to my mother, and I just started reading them and started crying. And I am so, so honored. We're so honored that you did this for us. Thank you so much.
You know you're welcome. And there is a companion resolution. And Janice, let me get you to read it by caption, please, and see if that's sufficient to read this resolution by caption. And I'm taking this out of order rather than later in the program, taking it out of order now without objection. Janice?
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to name the intersection of Knoxville Road and Bethel Church Road after PFC James Roy Newberry, POW MIA, to provide for the installation of a suitable memorial and for other lawful purposes.
All in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. And I understand, Rita, you've got a final presentation. So in addition to that, Rita, let me call on you for your final presentation.
Wonderful woman yesterday. The opportunity of meeting this wonderful woman yesterday. And as a representative of Rolling Thunder, Georgia 3, we would like to present you with this flag of hope. POW MIA flag is symbolic for the over 82,000 service members who have not returned from the field of battle. They raised their hand, they took an oath to defend this country so that we shall have peace, so that we shall have freedom. And her brother gave his life for that very reason. It is with my honor you will know that your brother, Private First Class James Roy Newberry, will never be forgotten.
Get my stuff out of your way.
That's fine.
My speech.
Thank you very much. Veterans, thank you for your service. We appreciate you being here and appreciate you participating. Yes, I can make that. It has not been scheduled yet, but okay. But there's going to be a ceremony at Bethel Baptist Church where the MIA flag will be raised at the flagpole there at the church, and we'll get further information out about when that is going to be scheduled. Anything else that I missed in that regard? Okay. We now want to call on members of our Parks and Beautification crew. I know Randall Hunt is here, who's serving as the interim director. Randall, will you and your crew come up? You know, all too often, we don't see or we don't recognize people that perform vital services for us every day, that we enjoy and take advantage of parks and beautiful places and green spaces, and never think about who mows the grass, who blows the leaves, who keeps the place neat and clean for us to come and enjoy. Well, these are some of those nameless folks who do that work each and every day so that we can have beautiful parks, and these folks are especially to be commended tonight because they work a lot of the time that they are employed at Amison River Park. It is a 165-ish acre oxbow in the river, and for those of you who have not been to Pierce Avenue North and found your way to Amison River Park, it's right in the middle of Macon, on the river, of course, in this oxbow, and it has got a network of several miles of paved trails that need to be kept, maintained, clean. It has hundreds of trees that pine tree needles and everything else that have to be swept and so on and so forth. It has a wonderful pavilion, playground, and other amenities that are there, along with a beautiful overlook over the river where people rent and have weddings. We've got several pavilions so where people have family reunions and enjoy. And every time I've been out there, it really has been a joy to see. Amison River Park recently was in competition to be the best park in America. And believe it or not, Amison River Park was named second best park in the country because of the work Parks and Beautification crews and the support of the people that enjoy the park. They voted online, posted their favorite pictures of the park, taking them from a field of 64 parks from across the country in a March Madness style competition to the championship round. And they were joined in competition by Fillmore Thomas Park and Central City Park, but Amison River Park was the one that came in second place in the country. And we were provided with this trophy that says Macon-Bibb County, Georgia, Amison River Park for the Engaging Local Leaders NOPE Best Park or Open Space National Championship. Randall, with my congratulations to you and thanks to all of your crew members that do such a wonderful job out there, present this trophy to you with our thanks and appreciation. We have two more recognitions. Nameless, faceless individuals that provide services to us each and every day that we enjoy and that we take advantage of. But others also, for the most part, nameless and faceless, who put their lives on the line every day. Those in public service, deputy sheriffs, and firefighters who go to work not knowing what the day's work might be. And sometimes it's tedious and uneventful. Other days it's traumatic and perilous. And here recently we had a horrific house fire on High Street in the historic district of downtown Macon. And you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but way back when those houses were built, they didn't really pay much attention to separation of houses. And these two historic houses, literally, I believe, are less than 8 feet apart. You can almost reach out your arms and touch the side of these two houses, and one of them caught fire. And the fire department managed to save the house next door, but the wind was such that the house on the other side caught fire, and one on the other side of that was damaged. And in the effort to stop that fire and to protect and try to get on the inside of the structures that were either burning or about to burn, several firefighters were inside one of the houses when the roof collapsed. That's something that the fire chief and the mayor doesn't want to hear about. Thank goodness, through providence and grace and the goodness of the Lord, we've got five firefighters here with us tonight that were participating in trying to extinguish that blaze and who were injured in the process, but who fortunately are here with us tonight. I'd like to call up Sergeant Dandy Laconico, Private Martin Velanov, Private Quantavius Carswell, Private James Russian, and Private Matthew Cooper. Would y'all please come up and join me here up front? God Almighty. We are absolutely delighted that they are able to be here with us tonight, and we thank the good Lord that they're here with us tonight. But we owe, Chief, how many folks, firefighters, have we got in your department? About 400? Come on up. What? 416 people, because you got stations, you have to man them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So, Chief, let me call on you to say just any other word of thanks or anything we ought to say. We do have just a small token of appreciation that we want to give, and while you're making any remarks, I'll pass those out.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioner and citizens of Macon-Bibb County. Thank you all for recognizing our firefighters. On the 24th of last month, about 9 o'clock at night, a horrific event occurred to our city, and these firefighters, along with many others, there were many others that night, because it took quite a Herculean effort to combat the massive fire that we did have. And these four firefighters, along with Sergeant Laconico, who's not present this evening, they were inside of the structure when that roof structure did collapse in on them, causing them injury. And but fortunately, we was able to evacuate them, extricate them from their peril positions, and get them out of the house. But we're so thankful for them and their heroic efforts every day that they come to work. You know, we swore to serve and protect the community and the citizens of this community, and they certainly displayed that on that evening very, very much so. So very, very grateful for them for their hard efforts in their time, and thank them for who they are and what they do for us here in Macon-Bibb County.
That's right. Amen. Thank y'all very much. One final presentation that is not on the agenda, but I want to call on Mayor Pro Tem Tillman to come down and join me. We are hard working, if I do say so myself, and dedicated public servants as members of the commission. A lot of times we don't get those monikers, around the community. Well, sorry, good for nothings, and fuss buckets, and this and that and the other. But many of you may not know that there is required training that we have to go through. The Association of County Commissioners of Georgia has a program of instruction where you learn about the different areas of government, and to be a certified commissioner, you have to successfully complete all of these different courses. And let me call on Mayor Pro Tem Tillman to recognize one of our own who has achieved that status. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. ACCG is the arm that educates, trains all commissioners throughout 159 counties. And we're required, or we're suggested to go and get this training. I would ask Commissioner Lucas if she would join me here at the podium, because she has become the first woman in the consolidated government to be recognized by the Carl Vinson Institute of Government and ACCG as the first certified woman of the consolidated government. So, on behalf of ACCG, your fellow commissioners, the University of Georgia, Carl Vinson Institute of Government, and ACCG's Georgia County Association hereby recognizes Elaine Lucas as certified county commissioner, having completed the prescribed core educational classes, the Life Learning Academy. And this is presented to you. And with this special presentation, a letter would be sent to the clerk, because you'll be getting the extra pay. So you want to come around and Mr. Mayor? Me, you, and the mayor, we get a photo.
Yeah, come on out.
Come out here.
Where's he gonna take? Come on.
Oh, he wants
in the
to-
middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle.
ACCG encourages all commissioners to get this honor, and also there's a packet here of the event that took place down in Savannah with your name in the program as well.
I'd just like to say how much education means or should mean to all citizens. And one of the things that we do a lot of at these meetings is network and learn the best practices, the best things to do in our community. And we also get the opportunity to know that our community has been successful in so many different areas. So I want to thank the citizens for all of your encouragement and thank my colleagues for your encouragement. And for those who have not completed the courses, I would just encourage all of them to complete them, because there's never been a course that I've taken where I haven't learned something that I could put into practice here in Macon-Bibb. So thank you so much for the opportunity of serving. It's just an honor for me. Thank you.
Next item on our agenda are public comments on agenda items, and let me take this opportunity to say there's been one change in the agenda for tonight, and that is that item L under old business has been removed. It was tabled in committee earlier this afternoon. That's a resolution to amend Section 401 of the resolution governing the Macon-Bibb County Land Bank Authority. So if anybody was here waiting on that, that has been removed from tonight's agenda. Now's the time when we hear from people who want to make comments about an item that is on the agenda for action tonight, so that we hear from you before we vote on those items. Those of you who have signed up to talk about a non-agenda item will be recognized later in the program. This is Jonathan Stevens, who wants to talk to us about renaming the intersection of Knoxville Road and Bethel Church Road. Now, he may have already left because we kind of took, no, you're still here. Good. Well, Mr. Stevens, like I said, we've taken that out of order and already voted on it, so I apologize, but you're recognized for 5 minutes if you would like to come up and talk to us.
Stevens from Bethel Baptist Church, and I was here for the family, but Brother Joe took care of what I was wanting to do, so I thank the commissioners and for what y'all done at the intersection, and I think our church is all for it, and the people in the community are all for it, and I just want to thank y'all. I give y'all a hand tonight.
Good. Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate that very much. And Andy Ambrose is here. He wants to talk to us. Actually, it's about an agenda referral item, as I understand it, rather than something we're going to vote on tonight. Is that right, Andy? Yeah. It's on the agenda as new business item F to be referred. But please, you're recognized for 5 minutes, sir. Always good to see you, Andy.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioners. I just, first of all, wanted to take this opportunity to say thanks to all of you for last year when we were going through that arduous budget hearing. I was advocating for this additional 1% so that we could receive from our guests and visitors that come to this town the funds that not only come from the hotel motel tax but come from the sales tax that they pay as well. And so I was really pleased to see that working together with the state local legislative delegation, you're able to get that passed. One thing I just want to mention, I know at this point this is an opportunity, there'll be more discussions to come, but that this is an important way to really support those organizations in this community that are putting heads in beds, are bringing people, conventions, others here. And that's something that I want to say that we have put a lot of attention to at the Tubman, And I want to say this year things are going very well in that direction. And just to give you an example of how events can have a larger impact and the economic impact, this year for All That Jazz, and many of you were at that concert, when we brought Patti LaBelle, we also brought people from all over the nation. I had Ticketmaster pull the zip codes after that, and we had people from Seattle, Los Angeles, Phoenix, New Orleans, Miami, New York, Birmingham, D.C., Detroit, and other spaces. I can tell you those people stayed overnight. In fact, the Marriott was packed for that whole weekend. And just a weekend ago, we had the 23rd Annual Pan-African Festival. This year, it went to to around 30,000 people, 20,000 that first day, according to the sheriff's deputies. So you're seeing that this is becoming more and more, again, a regional and even a national event that draws people. And then this last weekend, just because we didn't have enough to do, we added a Tubman African American Film Festival, and that was wonderful. And we are going to continue to push that because we're probably the first city in this state to provide anything like that. And we brought not only people interested in film, but also some really inspiring film professionals, award-winning producers, directors that are African American women and are showing a new thriving entrance of minorities and African Americans into the film industry, which is extremely critical to this state as well. So again, my main reason is to say thank you for listening and going forward with this and pushing it, Mayor and Commissioners. And I hope as we go through this process that you will take note of those organizations that can help grow this industry and can help continue to bring economic impact to the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ambrose. We appreciate it. And thank you for your comments. I think that's all of the people that signed up to talk about an agenda item. That takes us then to our next item on our agenda, which is public comments. That we just finished that. The next is a report from committees. Our first standing committee that usually reports is Operations and Finance. I understand there's no report from Operations and Finance for that. But, Commissioner Watkins, can I get you to say just a word or two about your schedule of meetings in conjunction with your budget hearing?
Yes, sir. And thank you for the time. So as we get closer to July 1st, it's almost time for us to set our FY 2020 budget. Mayor Rickard will be beginning on May 14th with his annual budget presentation, and the Budget Committee will be following up with a series of meetings starting that day. On Tuesdays and Thursdays of the week at 2 p.m. will be the rotating schedule. You can log in online for the actual details on our presentations, but that's the basics of it.
And I want to say publicly, I appreciate your scheduling and your anticipated final budget passage on June the 18th, well ahead of the deadline of June the 30th. So I hope we can all participate in that and hope we can get us a budget passed by June the 18th. Thank you very much for your efforts in that regard. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second committee is Economic and Community Development. That committee met earlier this afternoon, and let me call on Chairman Lucas for that report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and fellow commissioners. The Economic and Community Development Committee met this afternoon. We approved the minutes from the April 9th, 2019 committee meeting. We approved a resolution by a 5-0 vote authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding between Macon-Bibb County and the Division of Family and Children's Services, providing for the joint collaboration of providing job and skills training to youth through the Georgia Teen Work Internship Program, and this is in cooperation with our Parks and Recreation Department. And as I stated before, it was approved unanimously, and we recommend approval of this full commission. We also approved by a 3-2 vote an ordinance to amend Chapter 4 of the code to prohibit cinemas from obtaining or renewing alcoholic beverage licenses. And that will be on the agenda later for approval of this full commission. We removed from the table a resolution on the concerning the Land Bank Authority, but after it was amended, it was tabled, and so it rests within that committee for action at a later time. This ends our report.
Thank you, Chairman Lucas. Next, I understand public safety, no report from public safety, which then takes us to facilities and engineering. And that report will be given to us by Vice Chairman Allen. Vice Chairman Allen.
Chairman, the Facilities and Engineering Committee met on April 23rd, 2019, took the following actions. The committee approved the following street light installations: 3 street lights on Fulton Mill Road, 11 street lights on Napier Avenue at Patterson Street, 1 street light at the intersection of Chambers Road and Brookhaven Road, 1 street light at 5940 Clate Circle. The committee approved naming the intersection of Knoxville Road and Bethel Church Road after PFC James Roy Newberry. The committee also approved a bridge paint maintenance agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation related to the painting and interchange and maintenance of the bridge at SR 74 and I-75 and the bridge on Stadium Drive at I-75, and a memorandum of understanding with the Corporation of Mercy University to facilitate a private-public partnership related to the agreement of Mercy University to provide all the funds and services necessary for compliance with GDOT Bridge Paint and Maintenance Agreement. This completes the report, Facilities and Engineering, sir.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Allen. Next item on our report is the consent agenda, and that's when we issue alcohol beverage licenses that have been requested. There's only one tonight. It is by Alicia Zellner, whose company name is Moving Forward LLC, and she's doing business as Club 9 at 2471 Pinona Avenue address. The sheriff has signed off on a successful background check on the applicant. The appropriate alcoholic beverage license fees have been paid. There's a certificate of zoning compliance from the Planning and Zoning Commission, as well as a certification by the county engineer that the location meets all of the necessary distance requirements, and the ad that ran in the Telegraph. This is for liquor, mixed drinks, beer and wine to be consumed on the premises at that location, Club 9, 2471 Pinona Avenue. The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of issuance of the license signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the license will be issued as requested. That then takes us to old business, and we'll begin old business with item A, which is a new incentive for vacant or dilapidated commercial structures, and the Industrial Authority having come up with a program called the Bright Program to eliminate commercial blight. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving the Macon Bright Program to be operated by the Macon-Bibb County Industrial Authority, providing for an effective tax freeze for up to 5 years for qualified projects, which will ultimately result in significantly increased tax value and revenue to the county. Provisions for implementation, pilots on qualified projects, reporting on results, and for other related purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next, there are 4 different resolutions, all pertaining to the installation of street lights. And without objection, I'll get the clerk to read all 4 of them together, because each one is exactly the same. It authorizes the installation of a light and obligates us to pay for electricity on a continuing basis after the light is installed. So without objection, let me get the clerk to read by caption items B, C, D, and E.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving a request for the installation of 3 street lights on Fulton Mill Road pursuant to Article 10 of Chapter 29 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances to be paid from the Facilities Management Budget, Services to Government, Electricity line item, and for other lawful purposes. Number 2, a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving a request for the installation of 11 street lights on Napier Avenue and Patterson Street pursuant to Article 10 of Chapter 29 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances to be paid from the Facilities Management Budget, Service to Government, Electricity line item, and for other lawful purposes. Number 3, a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving a request for installation of a street light at the intersection of Chambers Road and Brookhaven Road pursuant to Article 10 of Chapter 29 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances to be paid from Facilities Management Budget, Service to Government, Electricity line item, and for other lawful purposes. And the last one, a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving a request for the installation of a street light at 5940 Clates Circle pursuant to Article 10 of Chapter 29 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances to be paid from the Facilities Management Budget, Services to Government, Electricity line item, and for other lawful purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval of items B, C, D, and E. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of those 4 resolutions signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and those 4 resolutions are adopted. Next, we have the resolution pertaining to the intersection of Knoxville Road being named for the MIA POW James Roy Newberry. We took that out of order, and that has already been adopted. That takes us then to item G, which is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a bridge paint maintenance agreement for 2 bridges over the Interstate I-75 at Mercer University Drive and at Stadium Drive to actually paint those in Mercer Bear orange paint. DOT is requiring that we indemnify them for any additional cost, but in turn, Mercer has agreed in a separate contract to indemnify us for any additional costs associated with that. So let me ask the clerk to read that by caption, please.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute a bridge paint maintenance agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation related to the painting and maintenance of a bridge on SR 74 at I-75 and the bridge on Stadium Drive at I-75, and a memorandum of understanding with the Corporation of Mercer University to facilitate a public-private partnership related to the agreement of Mercer University to provide all the funds and services necessary for compliance with the GDOT Bridge Paint Maintenance Agreement and for other purposes.
Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution as amended signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution to hire an interim tennis pro for tennis consulting services, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Jamie Kaplan in an amount not to exceed $8,000 for tennis consulting services and for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution to authorize the county manager to hire a contract employee or firm utilizing the emergency procurement provision for business development services. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution to authorize the county manager to hire contract employees / firms utilizing the emergency procurement provision of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances to assist with the Information Technology Department's workload, with funding to come from the Information Technology Department's FY19 personnel line items, and for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Skipping over item J, since it's been pulled from the agenda, what takes us to item K, which is a resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding with DFACS for a jobs and skills youth training program. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding between Macon-Bibb County and the Division of Family and Children's Services, providing for a joint collaboration of providing job and skills training to youth through the Georgia Teen Work Internship Program and other lawful purposes.
Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is an ordinance making a change in the organizational chart for the landfill solid waste department, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend the Macon-Bibb County Solid Waste Department organizational chart for purposes of adding a landfill supervisor position and to provide for other lawful purposes.
Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. Finally, a resolution to designate a certain street in honor of Bobby Brown, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution, excuse me, a resolution of the mayor and the Board of Commissioners of the County of Macon-Bibb, Georgia, designating that portion of Peacock Street lying south of Spikes Street as Pastor Bobby L. Brown Way in honor of his contributions to his community and for other purposes.
Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted.
And this one came out of committee. That one came out of committee.
Okay. We have an omission on our agenda, and because Economic and Community Development met this afternoon and had a vote and passed out by a 3-2 vote, as I understand it, a resolution. It was inadvertently not included under old business, but should have been included under old business. But we just didn't have time to run off a new agenda. So in an effort to comply, can I get a motion to add the resolution? Let me read it by caption first.
You ready?
Well, I'm trying to be right so that we do this right. Just give me a little bit of a break. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just ask the clerk to read it by caption. How about that? And then we'll see if we'll add it to the agenda. Oh, yeah, they had to. Yeah.
Ready?
I'm a member of the commission. I can make a motion. But all I'm doing is bringing it to your attention. I'm gonna see if there's a motion to add it to the agenda. That's what I'm gonna do. If I just
It's on the agenda.
well, it ain't on mine, but it's on yours. So is that official? Oh, well, then we don't need a motion. I'm sorry. It was just omitted from my guide that I'm using up here to try to run the meeting. I apologize. So it was on y'all's agenda. It just wasn't on mine. So please excuse me. My faux pas. I'll back up. I'll ask the clerk to read this last item by caption.
Yes, sir. An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend Chapter 4 of the Inaugural Code of Ordinances for Macon-Bibb County to prohibit cinemas from obtaining or renewing alcohol beverage licenses and to provide for other lawful purposes.
The Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Mayor Pro Tem, I got your light on first, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the committee's work, but I just think, to try and get in front of the people's hearing that they've asked for and come out with a new resolution to whatever the term that we want to use, to preempt their outcome of their hearing, I just don't think is fair to them. And I'll go back to the statements that I made previous when this had come up prior to, is that I just don't understand the argument where adult movie theaters that house adults and then parents that are supposed to be there with children or kids under the age of 17 to watch or explain a movie to them, that we would be denying or trying to reject a business that has or trying to acquire a license. And I'll go back to, and I guess, this same body, has passed a resolution authorizing the sale of beer and wine at Chuck E. Cheese, but we do not want to do it at a movie theater. I just don't understand that. So I would just encourage us to vote no to this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Commissioner Allen, got your light on next, sir.
Sir, I appreciate my colleague's opinion, and really I do. I mean, I think you made a lot of gestures that can be understandable the way you're going with this, but I also understand that we're going in a different direction now, doing movie theaters where a lot of children are going. Now, you talked about Chuck E. Cheese. I was not here when they did Chuck E. Cheese, or I voted against that also. But two wrongs don't make a right. So I would hope that we do not know what's going to happen with any kind of court challenge because we voted against the theaters from having alcohol in them. But this here will give us a preventive maintenance that we can shut it down if it does pass in the next fiscal year. I hope everybody understands that and will vote for our children's sake by voting for this ordinance. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Here none. Commissioner Wynn, I got your light on that. Do you wish to be heard?
Just as a follow-up to Commissioner Allen's comments, and I appreciate Commissioner Tillman's comments also, it's just one of these things that we don't need to have. We just don't need to have it. If you want to have some alcohol before you go to the movie, go over to some of the local restaurants that are right across the parking lot and have your beverages with your meal and come over to the theater and watch it. There are a lot of children in there, and children under 17 are not accompanied by their adult parents. I think that was a mistake in what you said. Children below the ages of 17, young children, come see the children's movies. This is the only place that children can come see movies in Macon. This is our theater, and this is the one place I'd like to say that we can still go and enjoy and not have someone that's had a few beverages and with their meal and then comes in and has another few beverages sitting next to you and becoming obnoxious. You say the police can come and patrol that, but they're not. That's going to be, those people are going to be in there distracting us and then causing problems. But I just don't see the need for this. I mean, we vote for alcohol licenses coming and going. I've never seen anything like that. We just had another license approved on Pinona, so let them go drink there first before they come anywhere. But I just don't see us having to approve something like this. They're going to charge $8 a can for beer or wine. Who wants a can of wine? But anyway, and they've even said they don't expect to make that much money off it. So why do it? I just think this is one place we should say no. Please say no. And we'll have the opportunity with this resolution to come back and police it, if you will, if it needs to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wynn. Is there further discussion? Mr. Watkins, got your light on now, sir.
I yield.
All right. Nobody else wants to be heard. So all those in favor of the ordinance would vote yes, and those opposed would vote no. May I see the hands of the yes votes? I'm thinking I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see the hands of the no votes. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got that? 4-4. That's a 4-4 tie. This is one of the few times that I can vote to break a 4-4 tie. The chair votes no to the ordinance that would ban alcohol. Therefore, the ordinance fails to get 5 votes and is defeated. That takes us into new business. New business now is items that have come down from the attorney's office and will be taken up at committee meetings next Tuesday the 14th, beginning at 9 o'clock in the morning in the commission meeting room behind us. There may be other ordinances and resolutions that come down during the remainder of this week, so I would urge you to look at the agenda that comes out Friday afternoon, and we'll have all of the items that have come down from the attorney's office that will be taken up. But these are the ones that have come down thus far. First is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Allstate Tower, Inc. in the amount of $793,791 for services related to the construction and installation of upgrades to the Night Road Communications Shelter and Radio Tower to be paid by SPLOST bond proceeds or SPLOST revenues. And I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Excuse me. Item B is a resolution requesting the Georgia General Assembly to adopt local legislation to rename and dedicate that portion of State Route 74 from I-475 west to the Bibb County line as Topasofsky Parkway. I'm going to refer that to the Committee of the Whole. Item C is a resolution to amend the regulations governing the Topasofsky Recreation Area related to parking fees in order to allow for free visitation by school trips on school days. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item D is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute an integrated supply agreement with Genuine Parts Company doing business as Napa Auto Parts to privatize and assume operations of the Vehicle Maintenance Parts Department with cost payable under the Vehicle Maintenance Department budget. I'm going to refer that to Operations and Finance Committee. Item E is a resolution to grant a release of the demolition lien filed against that parcel of real estate known as 1519 Schofield Street. I'm going to refer that to the Facilities and Engineering Committee. Item F is an ordinance to amend Article 3 of Chapter 26 of the Code to levy a hotel-motel excise tax in the amount of 8% in accordance with the 2019 House Bill 668 to provide for the allocation of proceeds from such tax. I'm going to refer that to the Committee of the Whole. Item G is an ordinance to amend Appendix 1 of the Charter relating to the Macon-Bibb County Pension Plan pursuant to the authority granted Macon-Bibb County under the Georgia Public Retirement System Standards Act and Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 1 of the Constitution of the state of Georgia so as to close the plan to new hires and rehires effective July the 1st, 2019. I'm going to refer that to the Committee of the Whole. And that is all of the new business that has come down to date. But again, check the agenda that comes out on Friday for any additional items of business that will be referred and discussed in committee meetings next Tuesday. That brings us to the final agenda item, which are public comments on non-agenda items. We have several people that have signed up to talk to us. First is Mr. Ken Smith, who wants to talk to us about Safe Built. Mr. Smith, thank you very much for being here. You're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Say y'all have given me more food for thought. I cannot understand the inconsistency of this august body. We vote not to sell liquor across the street at Rosa Parks. I don't have any problem with that. And then y'all do not want to keep the liquor out of where kids are. Absolutely incredulous the way y'all do things. They're going on to say, it is, absolutely. I'd say y'all fickle if I didn't know better. And I want to go to Safe Built. We talked about that. You had a good comment about, this is has to do with our inspections and fees departments, business development. We talked about, in there I listened to you saying, won't our fees go up on inspection fees? Absolutely. If you bring in a third party in here to handle this, they're here for one thing. They're making a service, but they're going to make a profit. We have been so inconsistent. Again, our last 2 directors down there were absolutely unqualified to do what they were doing. The last one was there, all he had was a fire safety qualifications. How he got hired is beyond me. The one before that, and I'm not calling names, you know what I mean? The one before that would not even speak to some of the members of his own staff. How can you run an organization without any communication? All of us, I've been a contractor here all my life. I started out when I was a boy. Mr. Brannon was the only man up here in inspection fees right up here on this floor. All of us guys that use them all the time, we need people that we know, but we also need people who know Macon, Georgia. Macon, Georgia is a diverse city. The intricacies of the old buildings, things you need to do. We haven't given our in-house people a chance, promoting from within. What is we haven't been able to give them money. So what is the incentive for somebody to stay here if they don't have a chance to improve themselves? We should be paying for money for the kids, the guys to go to school, and let's require excellence, you know. But let's hire someone. First, we should look long and hard. I think Dr. Moffitt said we should try from within. We're going with this outside people, like I say, they're here for one thing, to make money. And that is not what we need, not for long-term Macon, Georgia. We need somebody who knows already, who does good work, who tries to do it, and who does not mind. Anybody that thinks they can live off one job is crazy. Your reputation is what keeps you going here. And if you're going to do good work, if they tell you to fix it, you're going to fix it. But we're on the wrong track trying to go outside. And I got one more thing, Mayor. It's not on the agenda, but I got to talk about this one, okay? And I won't be here long, but let's talk about this deal. We're talking about this $75 fines that we're talking about on marijuana fines. And I've got y'all a copy. This is 12 copies of the municipal court and the state court fines. And I just want to enlighten y'all on some aggressive driving, $504. Alcohol buying after hours, $308. Open container, $253. Allowing a minor to drive, $224. Let's say altered license, $308. Amber lights, $168. Disorderly conduct, it's having $421. Driving on the sidewalks, $210. Now, I mean, driving the wrong side of the road, $154. Eluding police, $504. Endangering a child is $700. I can't help anybody tell me if they get on marijuana that won't somewhere along the line endanger a child. Falsifying insurance, $420. Failure to yield a sign, $140. Falling too close, $140. Funeral procession, if you interrupt that, $140. Gasoline, if you drive off of that paperwork, $420. Improper backing, $140. Improper pass on the curve, $168. Improper pass on the right, $156. No insurance, $504. No license, $700. No passing zone, $196. Even on a motorcycle, if you've got an open container on a motorcycle, $253. Now, this is a range of stuff, and there's, y'all, 23 pages. Here again, we talk about non-consistency. No consistency whatsoever. We got the president in a dive or gambling house, $253. Public indecency, $253.
Got about 30 seconds, sir.
Okay, reckless endangerment is $49. But let me give you one right here at the end of it that is coming right in here to the. Let me go over here, and I'll be glad to come back and finish this with y'all one day. Y'all don't have to worry about it. Hunting on somebody else's land, $254. Fishing on property, $154. But here's one that's absolutely incredulous. Unlawful dumping, we got it. But we've got all of these set up, and we need to try to look at this thing. This is a lot more important than $75. That is no deterrent to keep people from doing anything. $75, they throw that away drinking liquor, as y'all said a while ago. So y'all get yourself and your hearts right when you start talking about this thing. I mean, you know, and I'm gone, but I will be back to finish my list. Because it's one, and I got y'all all copies right here now.
Yes, sir.
In just case y'all don't think about it. And I've got you news.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. We appreciate your passion, sir. Thank you very much for being here and appreciate your patience. Mr. Stanley Atkins. Is Mr. Atkins still here with us? Stanley Atkins. Going once, Mr. Atkins. Stanley Atkins. Apparently he may have left early. Crystal Mann. Ah, good. Crystal wants to talk to us about Youth Little League team funding for World Series travel and lodging. Ms. Mann, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
So I'm not going to be as entertaining probably as he was, but I am here, again, my name is Crystal Mann. I am here on behalf of our Little League travel baseball team. We are called Macon-Bibb. This is our first year as a team. And we are here I am here basically just asking for any donations or any kind of funding. Our boys have been playing, 11 boys and 1 girl, have been playing since February of this year, and they have basically came in first and second in every tournament that they played in, and they've been invited to the World Series in Alabama. So I am here because, of course, we're a traveling team, and we've been doing fundraisers, and we do have 1 sponsor right now. However, it's just kind of falling short. The kids are from the community, and they don't have a lot of the means that they need to get to Alabama. It's a 4-day tournament, and we're basically taking up donations for things like lodging, that's housing, transportation, and then the entry fee, which is about $835, which we have some of that right now. So we basically just need any kind of donations or anything that anyone can do, I guess personally, or if you have any contacts that we could use for donations or for sponsors. It's been kind of hard here in Macon getting sponsors for the boys, but they have tournaments three weekends out of every month. They get there, they play their hearts out, and they win. We've brought they've gotten maybe 4 rings for second place. They've gotten multiple medallions as well. So basically I'm just here looking for any kind of sponsorship or any kind of contacts that you could give me for the boys to make sure they get to Alabama. We're going to Orange Beach, Alabama. It's June 17th through June 21st. So
good. Thank you, Ms. Mann. We appreciate you being here and appreciate your information. And that would be up to individual members of the commission to get back in touch with you.
And I have some papers just in case you guys need them, and I'll give them out.
Very good.
Thank you.
Former Mayor Ellis, are you still here, sir? He signed up and wanted to talk about a non-agenda item, but I don't see him now. I did see him earlier tonight. Mayor Ellis? All right. Gary Wheat is here and wants to talk to us about National Travel and Tourism Week. Hot dog. Gary, you're recognized for up to 5 minutes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Tillman, and rest of the commission, thank you. I just wanted to come up to you and remind you, in case you haven't got your decorations up at home, that May 5th through the 11th is National Travel and Tourism Week. Here in Macon-Bibb and across the country, the U.S. Travel Association recognizes that. And I just want to let this commission know that, and this county know that they should be very proud of a very robust tourism market that they have here. What we've seen, 3,700 people go to work in tourism each day in Macon-Bibb County, including myself, to support those jobs and bring those visitors here. And that's everything from hotel employees to restaurants to our attractions, Tubman being one. And we're very thankful for those 3,700 jobs that bring those visitors here and take care of them. And those visitors pay about $10 million a year in local taxes into our community. And that, if you average it out, saves each household in our county about $500. That's up $50 from last year. So my encouragement to our community is, if you see somebody with a tag that isn't from Macon-Bibb, I don't encourage you to hug a tourist because they don't tend to like that too much. But at least make them feel welcome in our community. We've had a lot going on. We've been growing at about a 7% clip on collections of the hotel motel tax the last 2 years. Our market continues to grow. That means of our 5,500 rooms, hotel rooms in our county, each day, at minimum, 3,800 of those rooms are filled. So that means we've invited 3,800 of our closest friends here to Macon-Bibb to show it off. We've had everything from the last weekends of Pan-African Festival to Future Farmers of America. And this coming weekend, we've got graduation, and then the following week, we were one of 18 cities to bid on hosting the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, their opening round regional baseball tournaments. I'm happy to say we're one of 9 sites across the country selected to host it at Luther Williams Field. So we'll have 5 teams from across the country playing next week. So again, don't hug a tourist, but welcome one to our community. Say thank you for leaving your dollars here and what you mean to each and every one of us. Thank you, Mayor.
Gary, thank you very much, and thank you for what you do down at Visit Macon. No, he can't do that. He can't do that. I'm making an executive. No, he can't do that. He can't do that. He's not authorized. No. Woo, goodness, I'll dig it down. All right, but you managed to get it in. All right, Wade Horton. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Wade Horton is here, wants to talk to us and give us an update on the Macon Transit Authority. Mr. Horton, thank you very much for your patience and for being here tonight. You're recognized for up to 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you. How y'all doing today?
We well, thank you.
First, I want to say that if you know of anyone who has any type of blindness that is going on right now, whether it's from an injury or disease, especially with a lot of baby boomers, you got macular degeneration, that's their vision. We have a support group called We Walk by Faith, Not by Sight, and we meet the second Tuesday of each month at the Area on Agency, AOC, which is located at 175 Emory Highway. We meet there from 2 to 4. So if you have anybody that might be going through something like that, it can be very discouraging in their lives. They're a good group, and encourage people to come if you know of any. I also want to know if you guys could set up an email for the agenda to people with visual problems, because I've tried to get the information from the site and it doesn't seem to work very well from my phone. I don't know if it's works well with the voiceover feature that reads the information to me, but I can't get the information that way. So if you could set up something where we can get the agenda email, that would be wonderful, because I would have liked to have spoken on the theater issue, and I think I would like to say on record that I agree with Mr. Tillman about that, because I think that's opportunity for us to teach responsible drinking to kids, because we know they see it, and if we have it at other venues such as Disney Ice and Chuck E. Cheese, like you stated, that we need to investigate those areas and see what problems have happened there. And as I've heard you guys state that if there is a problem, you can always go back and strike down that license, so that, and cite reasons behind why you should not have that license. Because right now, when I look at the law, I don't see a reason why you should not have that. But I just wanted to go on record for saying that. Also, in reference to the Transit Authority, there have been cuts to the transit that we know of that has impacted the citizens. Ridership is down, and we know that, as I stated the last time I was here, that when you have to wait an hour 15, 30 minutes for a bus to come, then ridership is going down. It used to be 30-minute wait, and really that's too long in a city like Macon. We should have 15-minute rides, but we know that an hour is just unacceptable, or more, that's unacceptable. And then the number of areas that were cut in each of y'all districts, and I've heard people complaining that there were routes that were cut in their areas. That also has impacted the number of ridership that we have. We also, with that, you think about it. We have these shelters along the major roads where everybody can look and say, oh, they got nice shelters in Macon. They take care of their citizens that ride the bus. But then you get to the neighborhoods, not so good. You get to the neighborhoods, you see the sun beating down on people. You see a mama with their baby, and the rain is just beating down on their heads because they don't have a shelter. But we got shelters on the main areas of town. You can go through downtown Spring Street, Riverside Drive, or wherever, and you see these nice shelters but in the neighborhoods where these people are coming from, they're not there. Opportunity whenever the transit authority requests money to make your influence known, and that is the only time, because I know you remember a few months ago I was told to give you a message that y'all don't run anything, and I did just that. I told what I was told to tell y'all. The only opportunity that you have to influence and speak up for the citizens of Macon and get the things that will make Macon, to keep Macon moving, is at the time when it's time for you to give monies to them for various reasons. So please support the citizens and encourage, not encourage, but make your request known. That will help us to keep Macon moving. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Horton. We appreciate you being here. Appreciate your patience. Finally, Mr. Richardson, Donald Richardson, wants to share some grassroots reflections. And Mr. Richardson, as you're coming up, it seems to me, this is just my personal opinion, that you might be better served if you would read from the scripture and then make it applicable. Use some of your time to make it applicable to what we're doing. A lot of times you run out of time and you still reading the scripture, and I'm left not knowing exactly what the point was. Not that I always understand reading the Bible anyway, but maybe you could use part of your time to make your scripture applicable to what we're doing or a point that you're trying to make, sir. But you're recognized for up to 5 minutes.
First Samuel, chapter 11. Then Nahash the Ammonite came up and encamped against Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said unto Nahash, Make a covenant with us, and we will serve thee. And Nahash the Ammonite answered them, On this condition will I make a covenant with you, that I may thrust out all your eyes and lay it for reproach upon all Israel. All the elders of Jabesh Gilead said unto him, Give us 7 days' respite, that we may send messengers into all the coast of Israel. And then, if there be no man to save us, we will come out to thee. Then came the messengers to Gibeah of Saul, and told the tidings in the ears of the people. And all the people lifted up their voices and wept. And behold, Saul came after the herd out of the field. And Saul said, What aileth the people that they weep? And they told him the tidings of the men of Jabesh. And the Spirit of God came upon Saul when he heard those tidings, and his anger was kindled greatly. And he took a yoke of oxen and hewed them in pieces and sent them throughout all the coasts of Israel by the hands of messenger, saying, Whosoever cometh not forth after Saul and after Samuel, so shall it be done unto his oxen. And the fear of the Lord fell on the people, and they came out with one consent. And when he numbered them in Bezek, the children of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000. And they said unto the messengers that came, Thus shall ye say unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, Tomorrow by that time the sun be hot, ye shall have help. And the messengers came and showed it to the men of Jabesh, and they were glad. Therefore the men of Jabesh said, Tomorrow we will come out unto you, and you shall do with us all that seemeth good unto you. And it was so on the morrow that Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they came into the midst of the host in the morning watch, and slew the Ammonites until the heat of the day. And it came to pass that they which remained were scattered, so that 2 of them were not left together. And the people said unto Samuel, Who is he that said, Shall Saul reign over us? Bring the men that we may put them to death. And Saul said, There shall not a man be put to death this day. For today the Lord hath wrought salvation in Israel. And then said Samuel to the people, Come, let us go to Gilgal, and renew the kingdom there. And all the people went to Gilgal, and there they made Saul king before the Lord in Gilgal. And there they sacrificed sacrifices of peace offerings before the Lord, and there Saul and all the men of Israel rejoiced. In dealing with government affairs, politics runs government. We have two kingdoms. We have a spiritual kingdom and we have a physical kingdom. So when I read these scriptures, the polarization of light that turns the wheels of politics, it's the word make flesh. It's very hard for me to explain, but in my position as a grassroots community person, I'm looking at things in the invisible kingdom, and I can see how the what we call angelic warfare, and that's the only way I can explain it. But it is a positive thing, you know. So yourself being in an administrative position, you have different wheels that are turning that you're not able to see. So by me being down here on the bottom, then I'm just kind of making sure that however that polarization turns, that certain breaches are filled and the flame is not, just to kind of cover the breaches, if I can kind of explain it.
Very good. Ms. Richardson, thank you very much. We appreciate your grassroots reflections. That is
Certainly.
Nobody else signed up for a non-agenda item. Ms. Stewart, did you sign up for something? Without objection, 2 minutes. Ms. Stewart, come forward. We'll recognize you for up 2 minutes, please, sir.
Anybody who knows me knows that Charlotte, North Carolina means a lot to me. It's where my great-grandfather was President John C. Smith from 1907 to 1947. But this could have happened in Willicoochee, Georgia, and I'd still be standing here tonight. I want to say thank you to Mr. Mayor, to the members of the commission, and above all, fellow Maconites. I will be brief in my remarks. As we stand here this evening, exactly 1 week to the day after the horrific shooting at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, we are reminded of how precious life is, and above all, we have to acknowledge the heroic efforts of the young man, Riley Howell. Riley summoned that American spirit which says that I will not sit on the sidelines. I will join that band of goodness and give my last full measure to save the lives of my fellow human beings. Not asking what political party they belong to, not looking to see what race they are, but springing into action to do what is right, to do what is just. Riding gracefully on the wave of the army of goodness, where good deeds of one collide with the evil actions of another. Riley Howell was just 21 years old, yet to enjoy many of the joys of life, marriage, children, travel, employment advancements. To hear the bluegrass version of Amazing Grace beautifully rising from the church like the fog on the pines of a smoky mountain morning. A song and sentiment and honor so strong that it rose from the mountains and permeated through the avenues and boulevards of our great land. It eased down the dirt roads and flowed into the hearts of all Americans, black, white, red, yellow, and brown. Many would tell you that our greatest generations are behind us. As great as those generations were, and we thank them and greatly accept their inheritance of this majestic democracy, one republic striving every day to form that more perfect union. In us and among us, we must also be that generation of greatness, from 9 to 90. May we do our part to strengthen our nation and stand upon the summit and say with great certainty that America's best days are ahead of us, and that each one of us who hold the greatest title of all, that of citizen, May our courage and efforts forever rise to add to the very fabric of our nation, as Raleigh Howell did on that last Tuesday in April 2019. May we forever honor goodness, greatness, hope, and decency, and may we do it together, realizing that we may have different voices, different paths, and different ideas, but knowing that we will not only slumber tonight under God's precious stars and moon, but we too slumber under the blanket of protection of a land that all of our ancestors died for, prayed for, and hoped for. We today are that generation. A land known as America, and may God continue to bless her and each and every one of her fellow Americans. Thank you, and in some way, please honor as a body of government and as individuals that young man, Raleigh Howell of Waynesville, North Carolina, who lives now with the angels and shall rest there forevermore. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. We appreciate you bringing that to our attention. No points of personal privilege. We've reached the end of our agenda. Can I get a motion to adjourn? So moved. Without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.